mindful and very demure.
What people don't understand is that, guess what? It's a phenomenal compliment you just gave me, because I love the Temptations. Like I love the Four Tops.
Yep.
Just like I love the
you and my
Isley
dad
Brothers,
both.
Teddy Pendergrass, Luther Vandross. I mean, you know, thank you. Thank you.
I know who else
insulted.
you also love,
I
Jerry
insulted.
Jones. And he made these comments to DLLS on why he won't ever hire a GM, saying, quote, "I've done it all, so I have an inordinate amount of confidence. If anybody can figure out how to get it done, I can figure out how to get it done. So hell no, there's nobody that could come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can." He continued, "Plus, I'm where the buck stops. When it's up, I got to cover it. There's nobody that can do it. Running this thing, that's who I want to make the last call. Now, when I can't think, when I'm old and I can't even do it, but I'm a long way from not being able to do it too." Booger McFarland had Jerry's back. Boog.
You can make an argument that Jerry Jones has been one of the top 5 GMs in football the last 4 or 5 years. Just look at the amount of talent that Dallas has accumulated, from Dak to Zeke to Lawrence to Micah. I can go on and on and on and on. It's all been Jerry Jones. Everybody was expecting Jerry the GM to go out and spend a boatload of money, but Jerry the GM said, you know what? All in was all in on the people we got. If you find me a general manager in the National Football League that's accumulated and hit on more picks the last 5 years than Jerry Jones, I'll sit back and wait, because it's going to take a while for you to find that.
Jerry Jones still making moves. We have breaking news that he's signing Dalvin Cook as we speak, telling our Adam Schefter. So, Kmart, you're up here first. Has Jerry Jones been a great GM?
A great GM. Jerry has not been a great GM since I was in middle school. Great. The championships, the title games, it's been a long time coming. It's been 20-something years. He's a very good GM. I think what trips up Jerry is that in his mind, he has drafted well. So I'm good at scouting talent. You know, Dak Prescott, they got in the 4th round. They got Trayvon Diggs, Micah. You know, they've been able to accumulate talent. Look at all the guys that they've been able to draft. That's top-tier scouting. However, covering the NFL as long as I have, I realize that there are some organizations that are good, they're content, I should say, with being competitive. And there's a difference between being competitive and being all in, as Jerry said, all in. You're going to do everything you can to win a championship. You're going to do everything you can to bolster this roster in free agency and in the draft. And I think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones have gotten somewhat, it feels like they've gotten somewhat complacent with being, we're the team that goes 12-4. We're the team that goes 12-5. We'll win games in the regular season, 13-4, whatever it may be. But you can't, what's the point of going, you know, what's the point of having all those regular season wins if you get bounced in the first round of the playoffs? So good right now, but he used to be great.
Yeah, I have 2 things to say. First off, Jerry is not Jerry Vanessi. Look him up, Jer, who's the one who drafted Horning and Starr and Jim Taylor and Ray Nitsky and put those Packer teams together, and Jerry seems to think he's on that level. If anybody thinks because Jerry played offensive line for Arkansas with Jimmy Johnson in the early 60s, that he's out there scouting all these, and he's at these college games in the middle of September or in the middle of October at these obscure spots, finding these, you know, obscure players, that's a bunch of nonsense. And the other thing I would say about Jerry Jones is this. Jerry, you are not allowed as the owner to separate your ownership from your general managership. This is your franchise. You have not played in a championship game since Barry Switzer was there, who took over Jimmy Johnson's team. That's 29 years. So the idea now that you want a pat on the back that you've done such a tremendous job with the talent, well, where are the results? You haven't been to a championship game in 3 decades. Very few teams could say that. And Jerry doesn't want you to think about that. He wants to talk about, well, look at all the guys I found. Stop, Jerry, stop. Nobody cares, okay? Bottom line is your team has not been answering the bell in the big spot since Jimmy Johnson. That's all you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Barry Switzer did win the Super Bowl, even though it was with Jimmy's players, and I get that. After they lost in the NFC Championship game,
that's my point.
Francisco that 1 year, I get that part. You know, Booger McFarland, he's a really nice guy.
Oh, boy.
He deserves, you know, he's a really, really nice guy. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. I love Jerry Jones. We know that's my buddy. But great is a bit excessive. Yes, he has located talent, and that is true as the general manager. You know what else he did? He hired and fired coaches.
Oh, yes.
Since 1996, he's had 7 head coaches. 7. That's more coaches than playoff victories in the last 28 years. He's got 5 playoff victories. He's had 7 head coaches. How the hell are you a great GM and you got more head coaches than playoff victories? And it hasn't, not only have you not won a Super Bowl, you haven't been to a Super Bowl. Not only have you not had an NFC championship, won an NFC championship game appearance, you haven't been to one in 28 years. The results define your success. You can't go on and say, oh, you know what? I mean, I picked these guys and look at them. They made the roster.
He has
They
drafted
actually made
well.
a contribution. They can play. No, that's not how you measure success. You measure success by the bottom line. Listen, since 1996, the Dallas Cowboys franchise, their valuation has escalated by $9.3 billion. Okay, so you know how, so guess what? That's a bottom line. You don't mind being recognized for that. You're making money.
Yes.
You winning headlines. You're the most valued franchise in all of sports. How do you have more head coaches than coaching wins, but somebody's still calling you great? That don't make sense.
Stephen A., to your point, I want to know how much that consolation prize comforts him, right? Their franchise is worth more than any other major sports, north of $10 billion now, that was just announced. How he's able to sleep at night. Hey,
Because
we didn't compete, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how much of a discussion there actually is, and
I get in
how
front
much
of him, I'll
peace
ask.
he's able to have just based on that they're the number 1 franchise in terms of revenue and headlines.
He's a savvy businessman.
Yeah.
Jerry is great at making money, hand over fist.
Look at you. Yeah, you're a great businessman.
Yeah.
That's what that proves.
Yes.
But the reason why the results matter is because it begs, see, when I bring up the head coaches, you're the one who selected them.
Yes.
You're the one who selected to move on from them. You're the one who selected to move on from them when you moved on from them. You know, Bill Parcells wanted to get the hell out the door because of you. Jimmy Johnson wanted to get the hell out the door because of you, okay? You didn't keep Barry Switzer for but so long. You kept Jason
Garrett for too long.
entirely too long. I mean, so you've got all of these things going on, and that affects how your personnel performs. So if it was a separate category that had nothing to do and was diametrically opposed to the players themselves, as opposed to being intertwined, he'd have a better argument. But the fact is, regardless of what you picked as a roster, who you picked as a coach got in the way of them progressing to the point where we wouldn't be talking about NFC Championship game appearances, Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl wins, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Yeah.
Those decisions affected his personnel.
I want to kick something to the entire table. Stephen A., remember when you sat down with Tom Brady at the Fanatics Fest and he said there's a difference between Pro Bowl players and champions? It's a different mindset. Do you believe that this Cowboys team under Jerry Jones as the GM has a championship mindset? They're a championship culture.
No.
So how could he be a great GM?
That's literally what we're saying. And first off, shout out to Clarence Hill for this interview at All City Dallas, because
By the way, shout out to him because he left the Dallas Star.
Yes. The Fort Worth Star Telegram
That's right.
to come. Yes.
After 29 years, major props and much love to
Well,
you,
that's
bro.
a good job.
That is
Really,
a
29
great
years.
job,
Yeah.
because this is Jerry Jones unfiltered and raw. The amount of expletives, probably had more expletives in that entire soundbite than they have title game appearances in the last 25 years,
Not
right?
only that, I'm not used to Jerry cussing like that. My buddy doesn't usually curse like that.
But it shows you the mindset
Where he is,
which is like nobody can touch me as a GM. The problem is that the best owners understand that they don't know everything.
Yeah.
Jerry has been great at scouting talent, but also as a GM, to Steven's point, you have to pick the right personnel, you have to pick the right players, all of these things. And Jerry is the biggest figurehead in the whole operation. And it's not even the head coach. The head coach pales in comparison as far as leadership and authority. You know it's Jerry Jones running the thing.
Yeah.
And that's different in other organizations. This is why I brought up some organizations are happy with just being competitive. They're like, oh, every year we're in the mix. We're good with just being in the mix. But that's where you talk about mindset, Molly. Do you want to be great and be a champion, Are you good with just like, hey, we're in the pack, we have a chance?
Well, it's also what's the definition of insanity when you keep doing the same thing and you expect a different result? So he doubled down that no one's greater than him, everyone's the best, no one can do a better job. The buck stops with him, which is facts because he's writing the checks. But at the end of the day, where has that gotten you? With no humility.
100%. And how in the world is he in the Hall of Fame? Bob Kraft's not in the Hall of Fame. Bob Kraft's won 6 Super Bowls.
Wow, that's a good point.
Well, Bob Kraft should be in the Hall.
I mean, how is Jerry Jones in the Hall of Fame? Jimmy Johnson is the guy that built the team for him. He hasn't won anything. Why? Because he built a stadium in Dallas? He's not a Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Fame.
Let me tell you why.
Be fair.
Wait a minute. Even though it was a long time ago, 3 Super Bowl championships is 3 Super Bowl championships. That's number one. Number two, being largely responsible for the elevation of the league's profile and the money that they rake in is a role. He's the owner now. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he ain't going in as some executive. He's in as an owner. So we have to make sure we pay attention to that as well. Yes, Jerry Jones does deserve to be in the Football Hall of Fame. That's not the crime. The crime is that Robert Kraft isn't. That's the crime. Robert Kraft belongs in there, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Jerry Jones does have 3 Super Bowl championships. He does have the highest valued franchise in the sport.
Doesn't make you Hall of Fame.
Tell me. Well, again.
Because he owns that. Because he owns the team.
How many owners are in the Hall of Fame that got 3 Super Bowl championships? He has 3. It hasn't been it's been a long time. But he still can't take away the 3.
They really got a unique advantage, and you guys could speak to it more than I could. And obviously, we talk about them quite a bit at this network and everywhere by the fact that they were on national television when no one else was.
Stat here. From the 1970 merger, you'll appreciate this, to the 1995 season. The Cowboys won 5 of 8 Super Bowls they played. They're reaching 14 NFC championship games in 26 seasons. From 1970 to 1995, they played in 54% of the NFC title games and about 1 out of every 3 Super Bowls. That's who the Dallas Cowboys were. That's what he inherited. And then when he inherited it and they started off, it would be one thing if he inherited a winner. But when they started off, Molly, remember, they were bad. They went 1 and 15.
Give him his props, Mad Dog. Give him his props.
And he came in there.
And by the way, the reason why they're America's team is because they were on TV. Like, let's call it.
And he had nothing to do with that. Tex Schramm and the old Cowboys.
That's what it was. It's just like the Steelers. It's just like the Steelers and the Cowboys.
Well, Dougie, Tom Landry was Tom Landry.
And he got rid of him.
He got rid of him. You can't rave about Jimmy Johnson and ignore who he replaced.
I agree.
Jerry Jones had the courage to do that.
He fired him badly. He embarrassed him.
That was not good.
I'm just wondering how much the $10 billion comforts you at night.
Quite a bit.
Okay.